Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Belle again. So today, we're going to talk about Canadians saying it's not the Trump tariffs. This is another video where we're answering two questions that are different, one from an American and one from a Canadian, but have the same answer. Question 1. After watching some of your videos, I had Canadian YouTube channels show up in my feed. They're all saying it's not about the tariffs, and they go out of their way to point out when American creators acknowledge this. What I don't understand is that this all started with the tariffs, so I'm not sure what I'm missing. Question 2. Why can't Americans understand that it's not there's another word here, tariffs? Okay, so first question first. Part of this misunderstanding is the way the American news cycle functions. It likes storylines, so A leads to B. Adding additional context when the situation changes isn't something major networks do. In fact, it's part of the reason this channel does well. The boycott started to some degree as soon as Trump started talking about tariffs. A leads to B. That's the storyline, and it's true enough. But the real storyline is talk of tariffs led to boycotts. Then Trump started the 51st state stuff, and it was perceived as a real threat of annexation. That made the boycotts so much more widespread. So it's A leads to B plus C leads to B times 100. Then a lot of Canadians were not happy with new restrictions at the border. This is part of the reason the early estimates about the economic damage being caused by the boycotts are so far off. If you missed that video, the original estimate of travelers to the U.S. lost due to the tariffs for the entire year happened in just 2 summer months. The boycott got more widespread, and I haven't seen any numbers suggesting it's slowing at all. If anything, it looks like it's still growing. We aren't seeing direct impacts of the policies show up in numbers yet. But just like we talked about soybeans long before it started to show, it will. And to be honest, the soybean damage hasn't actually shown in the numbers yet officially. There's just no orders, so it can't be denied anymore. There's going to be major losses in jobs and tourism dollars. And honestly, at this point, there's no stopping the short-term pain. There's a closing window to prevent it from becoming deep, permanent damage. I don't see any effort from the administration to try to alter course. On to question 2. Just like answer 1, our news cycles aren't great at adding in new developments when it doesn't change the outcome. Making it worse doesn't really count. And then there's 2 other reasons. 1, most Americans never believed we were going to annex Canada. Trump's statements were blown off as an old man yelling at the clouds. So that reason is dismissed as a possible motivation. Then the second one. We're the U.S. We put the dollar into idolatry. So many of our national decisions are motivated by money that it's hard sometimes to see another motive if there's a monetary one available. For Americans, especially those on the border, I wouldn't plan for the downturn you're seeing to go away without a big change in U.S. policy. And even then, there's no guarantee. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.